Chosen one, listen carefully, because what I am about to say carries the weight of heaven itself. You have been sensing something strange in the silence around you. It isn't just quiet, it is heavy, intentional, and prophetic. Your family's silence is not an accident. It is a sign, a warning, and a hidden message wrapped in spiritual layers that only someone like you, marked, set apart, divinely chosen, could discern. You may have noticed it in subtle ways. Conversations that stop when you walk into the room, questions that remain unasked, truths that remain unsaid. This silence is not simply about words withheld. It is about the spiritual tension in your lineage. You carry light they cannot explain, and because they cannot explain it, they choose silence. But that silence, it speaks louder than their words ever could. The chosen one always feels the weight of family ties differently. For others, family is comfort, tradition, predictable. For you, family is also prophecy, a battlefield, and a mirror. Their silence is not indifference, it is a prophetic warning, a signal that something in your bloodline has reached a breaking point. God is alerting you through the very absence of sound. This message is urgent, because silence is never empty in the realm of the spirit. It is filled either with resistance or with reverence, either with fear or with awe. And right now, their silence is warning you. You are about to step into something your family line has never seen before. You are carrying a mantle that makes the unseen tremble. Their silence is the echo of that spiritual resistance. But don't mistake this silence as abandonment. Don't confuse it with rejection. In reality, it is confirmation that your presence has shifted the entire atmosphere. You are stirring ancient roots. You are shaking unspoken covenants. And heaven is using this silence to make you lean into divine clarity instead of human approval. Later, I will reveal what exactly this silence is pointing to and why it is more than just a family dynamic. It is a divine alarm clock, signaling your next spiritual transition. But for now, I need you to let this sink in. Their silence is not accidental. Their silence is speaking. Their silence is prophetic. You are not like them, chosen one. You were never meant to be. And though their silence may hurt, it is also a sign that God has marked you for a destiny beyond the walls of familiarity. This silence is the opening chapter of a prophecy that has your name written all over it. And if you listen deeper, beneath that silence, you will notice something else, a presence that does not waver, a voice that does not go quiet. Where family has chosen not to speak, heaven is speaking in ways that can't be ignored. The stillness you feel is not just human, it is divine orchestration. God often clears the room of distractions, so his words can finally reach your spirit without interference. This is why the silence feels so heavy. It is carrying more than absence. It is carrying a message from above, urging you to pay attention. Every pause, every unspoken word, every unfinished sentence is heaven's way of saying, turn your ear toward me. What they cannot say, I will reveal. What they withhold, I will make plain. Understand this. You are not left in confusion. You are being prepared. The Father himself is stepping in, removing the noise of familiar voices so that his voice becomes unmistakable. He does not compete with the chatter of the world. He silences it, and then he speaks directly into your heart. There is a reason it feels as though the atmosphere has shifted. It has. Spiritually, a veil has been lifted, and the silence you are experiencing is the sign that something sacred is about to be unveiled. God has already written this moment into your story. Before you were formed, before you took your first breath, before your family line even imagined someone like you could rise, this moment was destined. You can trust what you feel stirring inside, because it isn't random emotion. It is holy anticipation. You're being drawn into alignment with a plan that is bigger than what your family could ever articulate. Their silence only proves the point. This revelation is not meant to come through them. It is meant to come from him. And that is why you must not misinterpret this season. If you measure it by human standards, you will feel abandoned. But if you measure it by heaven's language, you will realize you are being singled out. Not rejected, selected, not ignored, appointed. The silence is the stage God has chosen to announce His word over your life. So breathe, steady yourself, and know this: the same God who split seas, who spoke through burning bushes, who whispered in caves to prophets, He is the one orchestrating your present moment. The hush of family ties is heaven's invitation to lean into a greater covenant. This silence will not last forever. It is the prelude, the sacred pause before the unveiling. And when God speaks what He is about to speak, you will understand why He quieted every other voice. The weight of what is coming requires your full attention. Do not resist it. Do not fear it. Let the silence do its work, because the one who sent it is faithful, and the words He is preparing to release will shift the course of your destiny. What comes next may shake you, but it will also confirm everything your spirit has been sensing. The silence surrounding you is not just a gap in communication, it is a prophetic veil, a marker that something hidden is about to be revealed. Heaven has been preparing you for a moment when the unspoken would speak louder than words, and that moment is here. You are standing on the edge of a threshold. This silence is not passive, it is pregnant with revelation. The Spirit is showing that within your family line lies both a blessing and a battle. There are generational covenants, unbroken patterns, unspoken traumas that no one has dared to address. And now, God has chosen to place you in the middle of it, not to be consumed by it, but to be the breaker of chains. That is why they cannot speak. The atmosphere grows thick when you enter, not because you have done something wrong, but because your very presence disturbs what has long been dormant. Their silence is the shield they use to protect what they cannot confront. But for heaven, that silence is confirmation that the prophecy written over your bloodline has reached its time. The prophecy is this: the cycle ends with you. The patterns of fear, secrecy, and compromise that have run unchecked for generations meet their interruption in your life. You were not placed here to carry the burden of silence. You were placed here to shatter it. And the moment you step forward into obedience, the heavens will back you with a force that cannot be resisted. But with prophecy comes tension. What your family has chosen not to speak about will begin to unravel. Old wounds will surface. Truths long buried will rise. Do not mistake this for chaos. It is the prophecy unfolding. Sometimes before a wall falls, it trembles. Sometimes before chains break, they rattle. The silence you are hearing now is the rattling before the break. You may notice strange patterns already, dreams that seem too vivid to ignore, sudden feelings of heaviness when you are near certain people, even the sense that you are being watched or measured when you say nothing at all. These are not coincidences. They are prophetic ripples. The Spirit is confirming what has been whispered over you. You are the hinge of destiny for your family line. And here is the deeper mystery. Their silence is not just resistance, it is also recognition. On some level they know. Even if they cannot articulate it, their spirit senses that you carry something that will alter everything. That awareness frightens them because it demands change, and change always costs. So they choose silence, thinking it will delay the inevitable. But nothing can delay the word of God once it is in motion. The silence, therefore, is not the end. It is the sign. It is heaven's way of letting you know that the prophecy is active, alive, and pressing against the walls of the present. You are walking into a season where every unspoken thing will be revealed, and what has been ignored will be forced into the light. This is not to harm you, but to free you. This prophecy is not a curse, it is deliverance disguised as discomfort. The very things your family cannot say are the things God is preparing to heal, redeem, and replace with truth. And you are the vessel He has chosen to begin that work. So prepare yourself. The unveiling will not be subtle. When God exposes, He does it with clarity, leaving no room for doubt. You will see truths you never expected. You will hear confessions you never asked for, and through it all, you will understand why the silence had to come first. The prophecy is alive, and it has found its voice through you. The silence is its announcement, and the unveiling is already beginning. Silence always carries weight, but when it is divinely orchestrated, it becomes a language of its own. To understand what you are experiencing, you must look beyond human behavior and recognize the spiritual principle at work. God is teaching you that silence is not just emptiness, it is a vessel. In Scripture, silence has often marked the moments right before God moved in power. The heavens grew still before creation began. The earth stood in awe before the Red Sea parted. Silence is not weakness, it is preparation. This silence in your family is symbolic of transition. Imagine the calm before a storm, or the stillness before dawn breaks across the horizon. That is where you are standing, at the seam between what has been and what is about to be. Their silence is the marker that you are no longer in the old season. You are in the in-between, the womb of transformation, where God is knitting together a new reality. It is important to realize that what feels like absence is often divine strategy. God will sometimes allow those closest to you to go quiet, not because they don't care, but because He is severing the dependence on human voices so you can tune into His. This is the principle of holy separation, the removal of familiar sound so a higher frequency can be heard. You are being trained to discern not with ears of flesh, but with ears of spirit. Think of it this way: silence functions like a threshold. When you step into it, you are invited to let go of distractions and carry only what is eternal. Your family's silence, then, is not a rejection, but an altar. On that altar, God is burning away the illusions of approval, comfort, and validation that have tethered your destiny to human expectation. What emerges from the fire is clarity, vision, and power unshakable. This is also a lesson in divine timing. For years, the conversations you longed for might have never come. The support you expected may have remained withheld. Yet now, in this prophetic moment, you are realizing that what seemed like delay was divine pacing. God has not allowed you to hear certain words because they would have distorted your assignment. He has not permitted you to receive certain affirmations because they would have weakened your hunger for His voice. Silence, then, is not punishment, it is protection. The depth of this truth reaches further. The silence is not just about your family, it is about the line you are called to break open. Silence has preserved patterns for generations. Secrets kept in whispers, traumas buried, sins overlooked, all hidden behind silence. Now, God is flipping that silence on its head and using it as a weapon in your hands. What once concealed bondage will now announce freedom. What once hid darkness will now testify of light. Metaphorically, you are the storm on the horizon. The air grows thick before it rains, and people feel it in their bones. That thickness is what your family senses in you. They can't name it, but they know it is disruptive. You are the dawn breaking after a long night. Before light floods the sky, there is that eerie quiet when everything holds its breath. That is where you are now, the pause before revelation, the stillness before breakthrough. And in that silence, God is revealing who He is to you personally. He is not just the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He is your God, your deliverer, your voice in the stillness. The meaning of this moment is deeply intimate. He is showing you that your destiny does not depend on anyone else's permission. The silence is proof that your covenant is with Him alone. So let the silence teach you. Let it strip you of fear. Let it sharpen your discernment. Every unspoken word from your family becomes a reminder that you are not waiting on them to speak. You are waiting on heaven to move. Every pause becomes a symbol of how deeply God trusts you to carry what others cannot even name. The spiritual meaning of this silence is layered, but it can be summed up in this. God is calling you to stand where no one else has stood, to see what no one else has seen, and to carry what no one else has carried. Their silence is not your cage, it is your launch pad. It is the sacred hush before the divine unveiling, and you are standing in the center of it, chosen to bear witness to what comes next. If you've been wondering whether this silence is truly prophetic or just your imagination, pay attention to the signs that are already unfolding. Heaven rarely leaves you without confirmation. God always plants markers along the path so your spirit can recognize the direction He is leading you. And right now, those signs are already present in your life, subtle yet undeniable. One sign is the sudden shift in atmosphere when you enter a room. It isn't always dramatic, but you can feel it the way conversations pause, the way energy changes, the way unspoken tension settles like a cloud. This is not paranoia. This is spiritual reality. Your presence carries weight, and even those who cannot articulate it sense it on a subconscious level. The silence that follows you is their way of acknowledging it without words. Another sign is the vividness of your dreams. Lately, you may have been experiencing dreams that feel more real than waking life. Visions of doors closing, pathways opening, storms passing, or even standing alone while others watch in silence. These dreams are not random. They are prophetic confirmations that God is speaking directly to your spirit, bypassing the voices of those around you. A third sign comes through your emotions. You may find yourself unexpectedly weeping, not because of sadness, but because something deep inside feels the weight of destiny pressing forward. This weeping is not weakness, it is intercession. The Spirit is groaning through you, confirming that you are in the middle of a spiritual shift. Another sign appears in divine timing. Notice how certain scriptures, phrases, or even songs seem to repeat themselves around you. You open the Bible and land on a verse that mirrors your situation. You hear a word in passing that pierces your heart. These repetitions are not coincidences. They are heaven's way of echoing confirmation until you understand, yes, this silence has meaning. There is also the sign of resistance. Whenever you attempt to share your vision or step into your calling, you may notice unusual pushback doors that should have opened easily take longer. People who once supported you suddenly distance themselves. This is not rejection for the sake of rejection. It is confirmation that what you are carrying is too heavy for shallow support. God is filtering your circle so that only those aligned with destiny remain. Finally, there is the inner knowing. It's that quiet, unshakable sense that something bigger than you is unfolding. Even when you doubt yourself, the conviction keeps rising again and again. I was made for this. I was born for this moment. That inner witness is the loudest confirmation of all. It cannot be silenced, even when every other voice falls quiet. These signs, whether in atmosphere, dreams, emotions, divine timing, resistance, or inner knowing, are heaven's fingerprints on your life. Together, they confirm that the silence surrounding you is not random, it is prophecy in motion. And if these signs are already present, then know this: you are not imagining it. You are being guided with precision toward the next unfolding of your destiny. Now that the signs are clear, it's time to prepare for the challenges that come with them. Every prophecy, every calling, every divine assignment brings its own set of trials. These are not punishments, they are refinements. They are the fires that purify gold, the storms that test the strength of the vessel, the thorns that ensure humility in the midst of power. One of the hidden challenges you will face is isolation. Silence itself can feel like abandonment, and the enemy will try to twist it into rejection. You may feel as if no one truly sees you, understands you, or stands with you. But this isolation is not the end. It is a cocoon. Just as a butterfly is hidden in darkness before its wings are revealed, you are being shaped in solitude, so your transformation can be undeniable. Another challenge is misunderstanding. As you step into your calling, others may misinterpret your actions or your silence. They may project motives onto you that are not yours. They may call your obedience rebellion, your discernment arrogance, your light a threat. These misunderstandings are painful, but they are not accidents. They are tests meant to anchor your identity in God, not in human opinion. There will also be the challenge of weariness. Carrying the weight of a prophetic mantle is not easy. You may feel drained, spiritually and emotionally, as though you are constantly wrestling with invisible forces. That is because you are. The silence in your family is not neutral. It is the echo of battles in the unseen. This weariness will tempt you to give up, but it is precisely here that strength is forged. Another hidden challenge is temptation. In seasons of silence, the enemy often whispers, offering counterfeit voices to fill the void. You may be tempted to seek validation in the wrong places, to compromise your standards just to feel accepted, to numb the ache of solitude with distractions. Recognize these whispers for what they are, attempts to derail you before the prophecy can fully unfold. And then there is the challenge of patience, perhaps the hardest of all. The prophecy rarely reveals its fullness overnight. You may see glimpses, hear whispers, catch fragments, but the complete picture unfolds over time. Waiting without losing heart, enduring without shrinking back, holding the vision when it seems delayed. This is the crucible of patience that every chosen vessel must pass through. These hidden challenges are not designed to destroy you. They are designed to refine you, to stretch your capacity, to ensure that when the blessing arrives, you are strong enough to carry it. Think of David, anointed as king yet sent back to tend sheep. Think of Joseph, given dreams of greatness, yet thrown into pits and prisons before the throne. In both stories, the challenges were the preparation, not the punishment. So do not despise the silence. Do not resist the challenges. They are heaven's tools, shaping you into the vessel, capable of holding the prophecy that has already begun to manifest. The silence has revealed its weight, and the challenges have shown their face. Now the question becomes, what do you do with it? What actions must you take to ensure that this prophetic moment births destiny rather than delay? Heaven is not leaving you without guidance. There are divine instructions being whispered even now, and they are meant to steady your steps. The first instruction is this: guard your spirit. In seasons of silence, your heart is vulnerable. The absence of words from others can tempt you to let in voices that don't belong. You must be intentional about what you allow into your atmosphere. Guard your spirit in prayer. Guard it through worship. Guard it by refusing to entertain gossip, fear, or doubt. You are not meant to carry every sound. You are meant to tune your ear to the frequency of heaven. Second, lean into the Word. Scripture is not optional right now. It is your lifeline. When others are silent, the Word speaks clearly. When confusion swirls, the Word becomes your anchor. Each verse you read is not just text. It is a sword, a shield, a lamp in the darkness. Open it daily, even when you don't feel like it. Let the Word interpret the silence for you, turning what seems empty into revelation. Third, embrace fasting and consecration. Silence creates space, and you must fill that space with holiness. Set yourself apart intentionally. Turn down the volume of the world so that the whispers of God grow louder. This is not about legalism, it is about alignment. The more consecrated you are, the more clearly you will discern the direction of your steps. Fourth, practice stillness. Do not rush to fix what only God can reveal. Do not break the silence prematurely by demanding answers from people who cannot give them. Instead, sit in the quiet and allow God to speak. Stillness is a discipline, and in it, you will hear whispers that are easily drowned out in busyness. Fifth, keep moving in obedience. Silence does not mean inactivity. There are things God has already told you to do. Tasks, visions, assignments. Do them, even when no one notices, even when no one applauds. Obedience in the dark always precedes promotion in the light. The one who proves faithful in obscurity will be entrusted with influence in visibility. Sixth, pray for your family, even when they are silent. Intercede for them, cover them with love, even when you receive none in return. This is not weakness, it is warfare. Your prayers will do more in their lives than your words ever could, and through prayer, You remain free from bitterness, allowing love to do its work even when silence surrounds you. Seventh, expect opposition. This may sound heavy, but it is truth. When you follow divine instruction, resistance will rise. But do not let it scare you. Resistance only proves that you are advancing. Instead of shrinking back, use opposition as confirmation that you are on the right path. Finally, keep your eyes fixed on God's promises. Write them down, speak them aloud. Let them saturate your imagination. The silence will tempt you to forget, but your confession of faith will keep the prophecy alive. Speak life over your destiny until it becomes second nature, until your heart believes it more than your eyes can see. These instructions are not burdens, they are keys. Each one unlocks a layer of strength, of vision, of clarity. Each one ensures that when the silence breaks, you will not just survive the moment, you will be ready to carry its fulfillment. Do not underestimate this season. The instructions you obey now are the seeds of the harvest you will reap later. And when the unveiling comes, it will be clear. You did not stumble into it by chance. You were prepared. You were aligned. You were faithful in the silence, and therefore trusted in the revealing. Even as you follow these instructions, one question may linger in your heart. Am I safe? Will I be covered in this silence and in the storms it stirs? And the answer, spoken with the full authority of heaven, is yes. You are not walking into this season unguarded. Divine protection is already surrounding you. Picture yourself standing in the middle of a battlefield, yet untouched by the weapons flying all around. This is what it means to be shielded by God. The silence of your family may feel like exposure, but in reality, it has created space for heaven's covering to rest more heavily upon you. What others cannot provide in words, God provides in presence. And His presence is stronger than any shield of man. You are protected not just physically, but spiritually. Angels have been dispatched on your behalf, warriors who move unseen, guarding your steps, blocking unseen attacks, and keeping your path clear when darkness tries to interfere. Though you cannot see them, you will feel their presence in moments when peace overtakes you unexpectedly, when danger passes you by, when doors close that would have led to harm. There is also assurance in the covenant you carry. You are not here by accident. God Himself has marked you, and that mark serves as a seal against destruction. Think of the blood on the doorposts in Egypt, the way it shielded the homes of God's people, while judgment passed through the land. In the same way, you are covered not by chance, but by divine appointment. Even your mind is being protected. Where fear could have taken root, God is placing peace. Where confusion could have multiplied, God is releasing clarity. This inner assurance is not something you manufacture. It is something heaven imparts. It is the Spirit whispering, "Be still, I am with you. Fear not, for I go before you." And do not overlook this truth. Protection is not only defensive, it is also empowering. You are not merely surviving, you are being positioned to thrive. The shield around you is also the wind beneath you, propelling you forward even when opposition rises. What looks like silence and stillness is, in reality, a fortress of preparation. So rest in this. You are not alone. You never were. Even when family turns quiet, heaven turns loud in its protection. Even when people withhold their words, angels move in obedience to God's command. You are surrounded, covered, and carried by the one who neither sleeps nor slumbers. Let this assurance anchor you as the prophecy unfolds. Every step you take is guarded. Every night you endure is watched over. And every silence you face is filled not with emptiness, but with the presence that promises, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." There will come a day when the silence that once felt unbearable will be remembered as the sacred soil where your transformation began. The quiet that seemed to suffocate you will be revealed as the atmosphere God used to reshape you from the inside out. And when that day arrives, you will not only see the fulfillment of prophecy, you will feel the weight of it in every part of your being. The transformation starts within. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, your spirit grows stronger. The insecurity that once haunted you loses its grip. The fear of rejection, the craving for approval, the longing for affirmation, all of it begins to fade. In its place rises an unshakable confidence, not rooted in ego, but in divine identity. You come to know, deep in your bones, that you are not defined by silence but by covenant. Then comes the outward change. Opportunities begin to open that once seemed locked. Relationships shift as God brings the right people into your life at the right time. Your steps align with divine timing so perfectly that even delays turn into blessings. What once looked like closed doors reveal themselves as redirections towards something greater. The silence that once isolated you becomes the backdrop against which your breakthrough shines brightest. This fulfillment is not just about personal blessing, it is about generational shift. The cycles that your family could not break begin to dissolve in your presence. Addictions lose their grip. Secrets lose their power. Patterns of fear and lack crumble as you walk in obedience. Your life becomes the proof that prophecy is real, that silence was not wasted, and that God's promises cannot be muted. And then comes the moment of unveiling. The very ones who withheld their words will witness the evidence of your calling. Their silence will turn into awe, not because you sought revenge, but because God made your transformation undeniable. Where they once said nothing, they will have no choice but to acknowledge, something greater than us has touched this life. You will stand as living testimony, not just to your family, but to everyone connected to you. People will see the glow of fulfillment in your eyes, the peace in your spirit, the strength in your presence. They will realize that the silence which surrounded you was not emptiness, it was incubation. And what has emerged from that incubation is a life that carries divine authority and unstoppable light. In that moment, gratitude will flood your heart. You will thank God for the silence, for the loneliness, for the challenges, because each one was necessary for your transformation. You will understand why He allowed the hush before the unveiling. And you will see clearly that every tear, every unanswered question, every unspoken word was part of a divine equation leading you to this fulfillment. So lift your eyes, even now. See beyond the silence, see the promise taking shape, see the transformation already unfolding. The fulfillment is closer than it appears, and when it arrives, you will know. Nothing was wasted, nothing was in vain, and everything worked together to reveal the glory of God through your life. Now the silence that once weighed heavy on you has revealed its secret. It was never meant to crush you, it was meant to prepare you. And as this word settles into your spirit, let it not only encourage you but also seal itself within you. Speak these truths aloud, and let them become the rhythm of your days. Repeat after me, I am not defined by silence. I am defined by God's covenant. I walk under divine protection, covered in grace, guided by heaven's voice. I carry the authority to break cycles and birth new beginnings in my family line. I am prepared, I am chosen, and I am ready for the fulfillment of prophecy. Let these affirmations echo in your heart whenever the quiet grows too loud. Let them be the melody that steadies you when doubt tries to creep in. Each one is more than words, they are spiritual anchors tying you back to the truth that heaven has spoken over you. And now, receive this blessing. May the silence no longer feel like absence but like sacred space. May you sense the nearness of God in every pause, every gap, every unspoken moment. May your ears be opened to divine whispers that no human could give. And may your steps be ordered with precision by the hand of the Almighty. May you find peace where confusion once lived. May you walk boldly into the unveiling that awaits you, clothed not in fear but in confidence that comes from above. May the silence that once threatened to isolate you now serve as a testimony of how faithfully God carried you through. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are not invisible. You are seen, known and appointed for such a time as this. And as this prophetic word settles into your spirit, may it ignite a fire that cannot be put out, a faith that cannot be shaken, and a hope that will not fade. Go forward now with assurance. Carry this blessing with you, and remember what their silence could not say. Heaven has already spoken. The prophecy is alive, and it is written across your destiny. Peace to you, strength to you, and grace overflowing into every corner of your life. In Jesus' name, it is sealed. Amen.